Hi guys, my name is Bas and welcome to episode number 18 of my art tutorial studios here on YouTube. So today we're gonna have another look at multiple linear regression and another look at confounders. I strongly recommend watching episode 17 first because this is the sequel of it. I explained what multiple linear regression with a confounder is in the last episode. So I really strongly recommend watching that one first. But now we're going to look at the calculations you can actually make with these values. Okay, so first of all, we open the tidyverse package as we do in every episode. So library tidyverse and Control Enter. And then we're going to use the same line as we did in the previous episode. The dataset we're using is the confounder dataset, which I made myself. And it shows the relationship between the amount of ice creams you eat in a month, the temperature it is in a month, and the amount of sunburns you get in a month. And the last episode we took a look at ice cream to sunburn was the independent and the dependent variable, and it seemed to be a really strong relationship. But once we added the confounder temperature into the regression model, it turned out that temperature actually has a really strong connection with sunburn. And the original connection between ice cream and sunburn was not significant anymore. So that shows that it's important to add confounders into your regression model. So how do we get that regression model? Well, we type the dataset we're using, which is confounder in this case. Then you press Ctrl-Shift-M to get the pipe operator. And then you type LM, linear model, open brackets. And then the dependent variable in this case is sunburn, and then a space, and then the wavy symbol, and then the two independent variables, which are ice cream plus temperature, comma, data is dot. So this is the same code as we used last episode. So you want the confounder dataset. And in that dataset, you want a linear model with sunburn being the dependent variable, ice cream and temperature being the independent variables, and data is this dataset which we're using. And then you press another pipe operator, and then you want the summary of this model. You press summary, and then you press Ctrl Enter, and then in the bottom you can see that the summary has opened. Alright, and if we then look at the coefficients table, it's the same as we previously had, with the slopes for ice cream being 0.08 and the slope of temperature being 0.95. And that means that if you add one ice cream, so ice cream increases with 1, so you eat an extra ice cream throughout the month, then your amount of sunburns increases with 0.08. And if the temperature increases with 1, then the sunburns increases with 0.95, so almost 1. So you could state that if temperature increases with 1, your amount of sunburns increases also almost with 1. And then we need to take a look at the intercept. And I explained in episode 16 with a simple linear regression that the intercept, or otherwise known as the constant, is the amount of the dependent variable if the independent variable is 0. So the intercept shows the level of the dependent variable being sunburns if the independent variable being ice cream is 0, so 0 ice creams. But now we have a multiple linear regression, but it is actually still pretty much the same. The intercept is the level of the dependent variable, so sunburns, if the ice cream and temperature is 0. So if the independent variables are 0. So if you eat 0 ice creams throughout the month and the temperature is 0, then the amount of sunburns starts at a constant intercept of minus 0.07. This is of course a hypothetical, so a mathematical answer, because you can't get minus 0.07 sunburns in a month. So it's hypothetical, keep that in mind. And then every time your ice cream increases, the number increases with 0.08. And every time the temperature increases, the amount of sunburns you get increases with 0.95. And you can actually make a formula out of this, which I'm going to show you right now. Normally you have y is ax plus b. But in this case, we have y is a1 times x1 plus a2 times b2 and plus, well, times x2 plus b. This is the mathematical formula which we use. I will now try to make it a little bit more understandable for you guys. The intercept, the dependent variable is the slope of one of the first independent variable times the independent variable 1 plus the slope of the second independent variable times independent variable 2 plus the intercept. Okay, and to make it even more specific, in this case it means sunburns is the slope of ice cream, which was 0.08, times the amount of ice creams you eat in a month, plus the slope of temperature, which was 0.95, times the temperature, plus the intercept of minus 0.07. So in this way, you can calculate the sunburns by just filling in how many ice creams someone eats and what the temperature is. So in this case, if I ate 8 ice creams throughout the month, and I had and the temperature was an average of 5 out of 10, then you would fill it in that sunburns is 0.08 times I ate 8 ice creams, I said, plus 0.95 times the temperature, which was 5, plus the intercept of minus 0.07. And if you would use a calculator to calculate that, then you would get to the answer for the amount of sunburns for someone who ate 8 ice creams and had 5, and the temperature was 5. So this is how you can actually make the formula out of the coefficients table you just had. You started off by looking at the coefficients table, and you take a look at the intercept, which is minus 0.007, is the level, the amount of the dependent variable, so sunburns, if the independent variables, ice cream and temperature, are 0. So if ice cream is 0 and temperature is 0, then the sunburns is minus 0.07. If ice cream increases with 1, then sunburn increases with 0.08. And if temperature increases with 1, then the sunburns increases with 0.95. And if you then turn that into a formula, you get this one. Sunburn is 0.08 times the amount of ice creams plus 0.95 times the temperature plus the intercept of minus 0.07. Okay, so that was the second video on multiple linear regression confounders. In the next episode, I will start taking a look at mediation, because besides confounders, you also have mediators and moderators. But for now, this was it. I hope this was clear to you. If it wasn't, then feel free to ask me a question in the comment section. And if this video was helpful to you, then please leave a like on this YouTube video, and furthermore, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I need every subscriber because I want to make this channel grow as much as possible. But for now, guys, I'll see you on the next episode. Ciao.